Hello guys, I'm Dianush and welcome to my presentation, Stealing in Plain Sight. Today I'm presenting my crime prevention plan to reduce retail theft, specifically shoplifting at Conestoga Mall in Waterloo. In this plan I use crime prevention through environmental design, guardianship theory, and spatial crime analysis to understand why theft happens here and how I believe it can be prevented. What really shaped my thinking is Hodgkinson, Saville, and Anderson's idea of diffusion of detriment, which warns that when we prevent crime in one place, we can accidentally push it somewhere else. So my goal is not to just reduce theft inside the mall, but to prevent it from spreading into the surrounding environment as well. So a bit of an overview. When I look at Conestoga Mall, I don't just see a shopping center. I see an environment full of opportunities for theft. The mall connects directly to public transit and is surrounded by large parking lots. I noticed that it is heavily visited by students, youth, and daily shoppers. There are multiple entrances, long corridors, and large anchor stores. From a CPDED perspective, I see this as a textbook environment where design strongly shapes criminal opportunity. As I researched retail theft, I found that it has been increasing across Ontario, especially in large retail environments like malls. What stood out to me is that shoplifting is often driven more by opportunity and low risk than by poverty alone. When I think about large stores, distracted staff, blind spots, and easy exits, I can clearly see why this environment attracts offenders. To me, this just shows that the problem is not random. It is patterned and shaped by the environment. When I analyze why theft happens here, I focus on the layout. I see shelving that blocks sight lines near entrances and exits. I see long corridors with very little active guardianship. I realize a person can move from store to store without ever feeling observed. After taking items, they can exit quickly into a parking lot or onto transit. To me, this is clearly a guardianship failure rather than simply a policing issue. The article by Hodgkinson, Saville, and Anderson really influenced how I designed this plan. They argue that crime displacement is not inevitable, but it depends on how prevention is done. Their concept of diffusion of detriment made me realize that if I only focus on the inside of the mall, I might accidentally push theft into nearby areas. Because of this, I knew my plan had to consider the entire space around the mall, not just the interior. The first part of my plan focused on CPTED changes inside stores. I would lower shelving near entrances to improve sight lines. I would also move high value items further from exits. I would also add mirrors and better lighting to remove blind spots. And I would also position staff near entrances instead of only at registers. And of course I'd add more than two security guards to deal with the issues. Next, I focused on the mall corridors. I would increase visible mobile security presence rather than having guards stand in one place. I'd introduce small staff kiosks in central corridors to create the feeling of constant observation. I believe this changes the psychological environment from anonymous to monitored, which research shows reduces opportunistic crime. Because of diffusion and detriment, I extend my plan outside the stores. I would improve lighting and patrol visibility in parking lots. I would monitor transit pickup points because they are common escape routes. And I would also encourage nearby plazas and retailers to adopt similar guardianship practices. This way, I'm not just pushing the problem somewhere else. I'm actually just dealing with the issue at hand. I think this plan fits Waterloo very well. The student population relies heavily on transit and frequently visits the mall. The mall already has security infrastructure, which makes my ideas realistic. Retail management here is cooperative, which allows coordinated prevention. To me, this makes the plan practical, not just theoretical. In conclusion, I designed this plan to reduce retail theft using environmental design and guardianship while being aware of spatial displacement. By applying Hodgkinson and his colleagues' ideas, I believe this plan avoids a common mistake in crime prevention, which is dealing with the issue, but not dealing with the surrounding issues as well. To evaluate my plan, I would measure police reported shoplifting incidents, mall security reports, and direct observations. Importantly, I would also collect data from surrounding plazas, parking lots, and transit stops. I would check this data at 3, 6, and 12 months. If theft goes down inside but up outside, I would know diffusion of detriment is happening and the strategy needs to change. Thank you.